up, YouTube? We're the Secret Stash Bros, and in this video, we're going to show you how to turn this old barnwood into this.
Our shop's kind of a mess right now, and we're putting in new heating ducts. It's kind of messy, but we're going to try working around it. This time we're going to build a infinity lamp, and just stick around and see us build.
Sorry guys for making this another 1 and 2 part episode, but this project took us a long time, kind of like the last one, mainly just because of time constraints. But right off the bat, these side panels have a lot of tricky angles in them that I'm going to go over right now. Your best bet for making these pieces would be to practice on some lower quality wood so that you get the angles down just right. For the bases and tops of your hexagon side, you'll need to put your tilt angle at around 16 degrees from 90. And don't get your boards flipped around, because each of your cuts will need to be offset from the other, so that each piece when it's standing upright will allow the top to still remain level. Once you've got both ends of all your panels cut, you'll need to lay out your measurements for your sides. So to get these angles right, we set our blade to 28 degrees from 90 and our miter angle that we managed to get with a jig to 11 degrees from 90. Getting these sides cut correctly is once again really important because you need all 6 sides to add up to 360 degrees so that it can complete a full shape. When you're laying out the areas for your mirrors, keep in mind that you're going to want to leave at least a 1/4 inch on each side of your line so that you can router in a recess for your glass later on. Okay, now that we got our sides done, it's time to make our mirrors. But instead of cutting mirrors in our chess video... Ready? I went too fast. We're going to use plexiglass because it's flexible and it probably will be a lot easier to cut. Plexiglass? So as I just alluded to, plexiglass, as you can probably imagine, is way easier to cut than glass. So all we did is trace out our recesses on the plexiglass and then cut to the lines on our bandsaw. This stuff smells weird! Another cool thing about plexiglass is that even if you don't cut it right the first time, you can always sand down to the lines just like with wood. Once we finished cutting and sanding all of our plexiglass, we went ahead and glued all of our side panels together. Now, clamps cannot be overused here. This is a real irregular shape, so you're going to need to use a ton of glue and a lot of clamps to get everything to stick together. Now originally we weren't planning on building this, but I convinced Dad that we had to put a secret compartment in here somewhere, and so he opted to put it in the base. The construction of this was fairly simple, where we started out with just building our main box. One thing that we will suggest is that you should probably make the width and length of your box equal to that of the top of your lamp, so that your overall proportions don't look out of whack. While I was busy constructing the rest of our bottom base, Dad went ahead and cut out some pieces for our top. This was fairly simple, as all we did was rip a couple pieces of our barnwood on the table saw and then glued them all together. And after we got done with those, I filled up glue bottles, just like I always do. If you're going to keep your bottom base drawer a secret, then you'll need to keep it detached until you construct your drawer. This final side will act as your false drawer face, and should generally be attached through the sides of your drawer, so that any indented screws on the outside won't give it away. Just in our opinion, ball bearing glides are always our first choice for getting our drawers to go in and out. Mainly because ball bearings allow you to use the glides in any direction you choose, whether it be upside down, sideways, or right side up. As an added measure to help conceal our drawer, we drilled some pilot holes right where it looks like there should be some screws, put some screws in, and then ground off the back of them so that they wouldn't stick into the sides of the base. Next, we centered our infinity cage on our top piece, then gave ourselves about an inch of extra space all the way around. so that the top piece would have a slight overhang. Since this lamp is going to have two different types of electronics in it, we had to find the center of our base where we could run some electrical wires up and into our cage. Now we didn't want these holes to be right in the middle of our cage because you're going to be able to see into it. And so we have to be able to hide those wires so that you can't see them in any of the reflective mirrors. Just to make our top piece look a little bit cleaner, we routed the edges of it so that it looked a lot smoother. Because we were attaching the smaller end of our cage to our base, we used both glue and screws to secure it to our bottom base. This part is definitely a little bit of extra work, but in the end I think it's totally worth it. What we're making here are several windows in our top piece that will add a couple extra dimensions to our infinity cage. If you choose to, you can have the windows line up with their larger counterparts on the bottom. If you don't want them to match up, then you can carve out any design you wish on a scroll saw. Just keep in mind that you'll have to make some plexiglass portions for whatever you carve out on the top. Before we end part 1, it's important to keep in mind that when you're attaching this top piece to your infinity cage, that you drill your pilot holes on the same angle that your side panels are on. You don't want to glue this one down because you're going to have to take it off later when you have to install your lights. Which, speaking of lights, you're going to also want to drill a hole in your top piece big enough for your mount for your light bulb. If you guys don't like these part 1 and part 2 episodes, just let us know down in the comments. We're more than happy to talk about what you guys want to see us build next or what kind of format you want us to use. Also, sorry about some of the black lines that were running all over the film in this video. I had the shutter speed screwed up really bad, so again, my apologies. And if you want to see some of our other videos like the one you see here, then feel free to click on one of the end screens that you see to your right.